All right, number 4. Which of the following complex numbers is equal to 5 plus 12i minus 9i squared minus 6i for I equal to square root of negative 1? Okay, so here we're dealing with complex numbers. Complex number has a real number component, also an imaginary component. So what happens is the rule is we can't have negative number under square root. Okay, so that won't be a real number. So make up this concept of imaginary number. So say if you have a square root of negative 1, right, instead of saying this is undefined, we can solve, we will just say that's an imaginary. Okay, so we'll make up this new concept of imaginary number. So this is a definition for imaginary number I is always equal to square root of negative 1. Okay, another thing we want to keep in mind is that if we square this, right, we do I squared. See, this will be square root of negative 1 squared. Okay, so we squared this, the square and the square root will cancel. So I squared is actually just equal to negative 1. So I squared is actually a whole number. It's not whole, but integer, right? So it's negative 1. Okay, so that's a real number. Right, so I is imaginary, but I squared is equal to negative 1, so it's actually a real number. So also want to keep that in mind. So whenever we have I squared, we can plug in negative 1, okay, because I squared is equal to negative 1. So let's go ahead and try to simplify this. So the first parentheses, 5 plus 12i, there's nothing in front to distribute, so we can just pretty much get rid of the parentheses. Okay, we just have 5 plus 12i. But for the second parenthesis, we do have to distribute a negative over. Okay, so we have a negative multiplier in front. So let's just go and distribute. We get negative 9i squared. Okay, negative 9i squared. And then we have negative times the negative 6i will be positive 6i. Okay, and then from here, we can combine like terms. Right, 12i plus 6i, they're like term, we add them together. So I have 5 plus 12i plus 6i is 18i minus 9i squared. Okay, and then remember we said I squared is actually negative 1, right? So we can plug this, substitute that as negative 1. Okay, so this will be 5 plus 18i minus 9 times negative 1. Well, what's negative 9 times negative 1? That's actually positive 9. Okay, it's a positive 9. And then here, since that becomes a whole number, and we can just combine with the 5. So 9 plus 5, we get 14. Okay, so we ended up as 14 plus 18i. And once we have that, we can no longer simplify that because we have a real number imaginary. We can't really add them together. So we'll leave them like that. So be 14 plus 18i, which is letter D for our final answer here.